Hello everyone, and welcome to my Wrath of the Lich King dungeon leveling guide. In this guide I'm gonna show you all the quests that I usually pick up when I'm leveling all the way up to level 80. I'll mainly be skipping quests where you need to do a huge pre-quest, because you'll spend too much time doing this instead of just clearing the dungeon without the quest. However, I've still decided to share some of the quests where you need to do a long chain in order to get all the dungeon quests. I've also added a timeline so you can easily skip to the dungeon that you're looking for. Anyway, enjoy the video. The first dungeon is Utgarde Keep. You need to be a minimum of level 68 in order to pick up the quest, and both factions have one chain quest they need to do in order to get one of the quests for this dungeon. As Horde, you can pick up 2 quests right away when you enter the dungeon. Talk to this Blood Elf to pick up the 2 quests. You can however get a 3rd quest, but it requires a long chain. The chain you start at this NPC in this city in Howling Fjord. This quest giver will allow you to pick up the quest War's Hill. I've listed all the quests that you need to do right here in order to pick up the last quest for the dungeon. As Alliance, you can only pick up 1 quest without doing any pre-quest. This is located at this NPC outside the dungeon. The second quest requires a small chain. You will probably need to spend 5 to 10 minutes in order to get the second quest for this dungeon. When you arrive with the boat in Howling Fjord, you need to talk to this dwarf to pick up a quest. This dwarf will tell you to find a nearby NPC where you hand in the quest. By this point you will be offered to get another quest, and this you also need to do. Once you have done this, you hand it in and pick yet another follow-up. Once you have done the 3 quests that I've listed and ended with rescue the rescuers, then you're done with the quest from this NPC. By this point you have to leave this city and move closer to Utgarde Keep. At this location, you will be able to pick up a quest. Talk to this NPC who will offer you a quest. This quest will tell you to find a dwarf where you could pick up 1 quest for Utgarde Keep as Alliance. What I'm referring to is the quest giver that I showed you in the beginning. So by handing in this quest, you will now be able to get yet another quest. So a total of 2 quests for Utgarde Keep as Alliance. As Horde, if you did the chain, then you can get a total of 3. When you're ready to do the dungeon, then the first quest will tell you to loot these weapons. You will need to loot a total of 5, and if the whole group has this quest, you will need to loot a total of 25 as the group. But don't worry, the whole group will easily be able to finish the quest. The second quest that both factions will have to do is to take care of the final boss. Once you have slain the boss, make sure to loot the head. If you forget the head, you will not complete this quest. Next up is the Nexus. This dungeon is located in Borean Thunder in Culling. You will need to do a long chain in order to be able to get these quests. If you don't play on a fresh server and you have Dungeon Finder or maybe someone who is already at the Summon Stone, then it will definitely be easier to get these quests. But the reason why it's going to be difficult on a fresh server is because you need to do a chain in order to be able to fly to Culling. In a moment I'll share where both factions can start the pre-quest. But before I show you this, then if you play on a private server and maybe in Wrath of the Lich King Classic, you might be able to use this trick. Close to Culling, you can find this spot where you for some reason can't breathe. If you die at this location, then you might be able to use Resurrection Sickness and end up in Culling. If this trick works, then you'll save a lot of time and be able to pick up the dungeon quest a lot easier. Anyway, onto how you do the chain originally. So when you get to the first city in Borean Thunder with the Zeppelin from Orgrimmar, you will be able to pick up this quest. This will tell you to find an NPC in the city, and this you have to hand in. You then pick up the follow-up from this NPC, and now you are told to go outside the city. Here you have to do a quest, and this quest you pick up from this guy. What you need to do in this quest is to slay 15 enemies nearby. When you have completed this, you will be able to pick up a follow-up. The follow-up is however not picked up from the same NPC. When you completed the quest, you will now unlock a new quest from another NPC. It's a female blood elf inside the hall. You can for example target her and then put an icon. Accept this quest and this will tell you to go to the area just before Culling. When you get to this area, you talk to this NPC to hand in a quest. Now you will have to do all of the chains from this NPC, and when you have done this, you're ready to go to Culling. Just make sure to do all the quests that are listed right here. As Alliance, you will also have to do a chain, and this is started in the Alliance city in Borean Thunder. Find the officer at the chair and accept the quest in this Monday. When you accept this quest, you will be told to find an NPC in the keep. The NPC that you're looking for is located at the top hall. Here you will be able to hand in a quest, but also pick up a follow-up quest. The follow-up quest that you're looking for is listed right here. The quest that you're looking for is from the same NPC, and the quest name is The Time for Heroes. This quest will tell you to leave the keep, and outside you will find this dwarf. This dwarf will give you 3 different quests that you need to do, and they're also listed right here: the siege, death from above, and plug the sinkholes. Once you have done these 3 quests, then you don't need to pick up the final quest from the dwarf. Instead, you have to find this NPC in the inn. By doing the quest from the dwarf, you're now allowed to pick up a quest from this NPC, and this NPC will tell you to go to the area just before Caldera. Earlier in the video, I mentioned that Horde had to do a huge quest chain at this area in order to be able to fly to Caldera. Alliance will have to do the exact same quest, and when you have done this, you can fly to Caldera. When you get to this location, you will have to hand in a quest. There's also going to be a lot of quests at this area, and I recommend you to do all of them. If you do all of these, you will also be able to pick up all the quests for the dungeon, because this is another chain that you will also have to do. Therefore, if there's a way to get to this area without having to do the pre-quest in order to fly over here, you will save a lot of time. Another thing that you have to pay attention to when you do the quest at this area is to make sure to loot the monsters. There's a chance that you get this item, which will start a quest. This quest will then lead up to a follow-up, and in the end you will be able to get yet another quest for the dungeon. I will not show what you have to do in all the quests. Simply just do all of them at this area, and eventually you will unlock all the quests for the dungeon. You probably have to use an estimated time of around 30 to 40 minutes. Once you have done everything, you will have a total of 4 quests for the Nexus. The first quest that I do is located right here inside the dungeon. You will find this book, and when you loot the book, you complete the quest. The second quest is rather easy. When you have killed the second boss in the dungeon, then you will be able to use this quest item from the quest. When you have used this, you also complete the quest. On your way to the third boss, you will find these trees. When you kill these, you can loot a quest object, and you need to loot a total of 5. The final quest in this dungeon is to kill the final boss. When you have done this, you have completed all of the quests for this dungeon. Next up is Azjol-Nerub. Both factions can pick up 2 quests right outside the dungeon, and there's no pre-quest for this. Like I mentioned, you pick up the quest outside the dungeon. This quest giver has a total of 3 quests, but one of these, the one at the top, is not for the dungeon itself, so skip this one. When you head into the dungeon, and when you're about to kill the first boss, make sure to check the room. Here you will find some eggs, and these you need to destroy for the first quest. Once you have done this, you have completed the quest. You complete the second quest when you kill the final boss. But in order to complete the quest, make sure to loot the object from the boss. If you don't do this, you will not complete the quest. When you reach level 73, then you could always swap to the dungeon Ahn'kahet. This dungeon is located right next to Azjol-Nerub. There's a total of 2 quests for this dungeon. The first one is picked up right next to the summon stone. The second quest you obtain inside the dungeon when you kill a specific creature. The creature that you're looking for is at this location in the dungeon, and it's this one. By killing this creature, you will be able to pick up this item, and this item will start a quest. In order to complete this quest, you need to collect some items, and those you collect down here in the dungeon. But remember that you need to loot these creatures in order to pick up the quest items. In order to complete the second quest, you will have to head to the room with the final boss. In here, you will find these 3 creatures, and these you need to slay. Then you also need to slay the boss, and when you have done this, you have completed this quest. Leave the dungeon and head back to the summoning stone and the NPC nearby. Here you can now hand in both quests and claim your rewards. At level 75, you can start doing the dungeon The Violet Hold. There's only one quest for this dungeon, but it also requires a pre-quest. This pre-quest do however only take 1 minute to do. You pick it up at this location in Drak'Tharon City. This NPC will tell you to find a quest giver right outside the Violet Hold. When you hand in this quest, you will also get the key to Violet Hold, and now a quest for the dungeon itself. The quest will tell you to kill the final boss, and when you have done this, you complete the quest. Next up is Drak'Tharon Keep. There's a total of 3 quests for this dungeon. All of these require a long chain to be done, so I recommend you to just skip these quests. However, I will still show you where to pick up the first part in case you would like to do the chain. As Horde, you have to come to this city where you pick up this quest. When you pick up this quest, you will be told to go to this area, and now you're ready to start the chain. The chain quest will start with these 10 quests, but once you have done these, it will lead up to even more. You're probably looking at a total of 2 hours or so in order to get all the quests for the dungeon. Alliance will have to go to their main hub and pick up a quest which is similar to the Horde one. This will also tell you to go to this NPC. By this point, you'll be at the same part as Horde. Eventually, it will lead up to you getting these 3 quests that list right here. Those are the quest names for the dungeon. A dungeon that I prefer to do instead of Drak'Tharon Keep is Gundrak. You need to be level 76, there's a total of 3 quests, 2 of these require pre-quest and 1 no pre-quest. The first quest that you can pick up without doing any pre-quest is located right here next to the dungeon. It's also at the same location as where you can fly with the Flight Master. In Drak'Tharon you can find yet another quest. This is a short chain and you have to spend around 5 minutes doing this, so this is definitely worth it. When you talk to this troll, you will be told to go to the area where you picked up the first quest, so right next to Gundrak. By handing in this, you will now be able to pick up yet another quest for the dungeon, so now you have a total of 2 dungeon quests for Gundrak. The last quest I really recommend you not to do, because it's such a long chain, you're probably looking at around 2 or 3 hours to do this. This chain is started at this location. When you kill these, there's a chance that you get an item, which will start a quest. This will eventually lead you to doing more than 20 quests in order to get the final quest for Gundrak. For that specific reason, I usually skip this part and just stick to the 2 first quests. The next dungeon is Halls of Stone. This dungeon will require you to be level 76 in order to pick up the quest. The quest that you need to pick up is located inside the dungeon at this dwarf. Pay attention here, because you need to make sure that everyone in the group has picked up the quest before you start the escort. If you didn't do this, then you will have to do the run once again. In the same zone, you can also find the dungeon Halls of Lightning. But the 2 quests for this dungeon will require you to do a huge chain, and we are probably talking about a couple of hours in order to get this done. The reason why you can't pick up the quest for the dungeon is because you need to do a huge chain in order to get reputation with Son of Udir. If you haven't done this, then you cannot talk to these NPCs and pick up the quest for the dungeon. If you would like to know where you start the chain in order to get reputation with Son of Udir, then I've also made a guide for this, and I will leave this in the description below this video. Once you have done all the pre-quests that you need to do, then you can pick up these 2 quests and you're ready to do Halls of Lightning. Usually I just skip Halls of Lightning at this point and stick to the Oculus instead. This dungeon is fairly easy to do and there's no pre-quest. There's a total of 4 quests, but all of these is done inside the dungeon and you can only do 1 quest at a time. The starting quest is picked up in Culling, where you also picked up the quest for Nexus. At this point, you will have to head into the dungeon, and once you have killed the first boss, you will complete the first quest. Now you will also free the NPCs, and at this NPC you can hand in the quest. Make sure to pick a reward, and also the follow-up. Next you will have to talk to these NPCs. These will allow you to get a dragon. One of them can heal, another one tank, and one can DPS. Now you will have to use the dragons and fly around in the dungeon. The enemies that you're looking for looks like this, and you need to slay a total of 10. Once you have taken care of this, you are now allowed to kill the second boss. When you kill this, an NPC will spawn, and here you hand in the second quest. This NPC will also allow you to pick up the third quest. And in order to do this, you will need to do a small event. Make sure to use your dragons and fly to these platforms. When you're about to pull the third boss, he will teleport away and summon some creatures. Once you have taken care of all the 3 different platforms and all the creatures, then you can move to the middle of the dungeon. Here you will be able to pull the third boss, and now you can also kill him. By slaying him, you will complete the third quest, and an NPC will spawn. Next you will have to summon your drakes, and now you have to take care of the final boss. When you have killed the final boss, then you will also have the opportunity to loot a chest for some blue rewards. If you would like to hand in the final quest, make sure to head back to Culling. One of the final high level dungeons that I like to do when I'm leveling is Stratholme. This dungeon is located in Daenerys in Caverns of Time. There's a total of 2 quests for this dungeon, and you pick them up inside the dungeon. When you enter the instance, then at the beginning you will be able to find this gnome. She will offer you a quest, and when you accept this quest, you also pick up a quest item. This quest item you will have to use at different crates inside the dungeon. These 5 crates is pretty close to each other. Once you have done this, you complete the quest and then you venture further into the dungeon. Here you will find the NPC where you hand in the quest, and this will also allow you to pick up the second quest for this dungeon. This quest will tell you to clear all the waves and kill the final boss, and when you have done this, you simply complete the quest. But in order to hand it in, you have to wait for this dragon or Chromie to arrive. Now you can hand in the quest and you are done with the dungeon. The final high level dungeon that I do is Utgarde Pinnacle. This dungeon will require you to be level 78 in order to pick up the 2 quests. Both quests can be picked up at this NPC in the start of the dungeon. These quests is fairly easy to do. The first quest will require you to pick up a lot of different objects, and these objects can be found in the entire dungeon. Some of them are rather small, so make sure to pay attention. There should be enough objects for the whole group to complete this quest. Once you have collected all of these, then you will most likely also be at the final boss. When you have killed him, you complete the final quest, and now you have to get back to the entrance. There's a gate that will be unlocked by killing the final one, and this will allow you to get back to the entrance where you can hand in the quests. I hope you found this guide useful and that it will help you level in Wrath of the Lich King. In case there's other Wrath of the Lich King content that you would like to see, let me know this in a comment below the video. I've already posted a lot of different videos for this expansion that you might enjoy. But yeah, as always, thank you for watching and have an amazing day. Peace.